So today we will discuss about the DTA. So the thermal analysis are classified into TG, that is the thermogravimetry, DTG, derivative of the thermogravimetry, DTA, differential thermal analysis, and DSC, that is the differential scanning colorimetry and thermometric titration. So we will see the second point, that is the DTA. The name suggested that DTA, that is the differential thermal analysis. In the DTA, it is the first introduced by Lee Chatelier in 1881 and it is the modified by Robert Austin in 1899. The main principle of DTA technique, it is the continuous record the temperature difference between inert reference material and sample material, and it is the time or against the time or temperature. So we will see in once time again. So DTA, it is the technique that is the continuous record the temperature difference between inert reference material and sample materials against time or temperature. In the thermogram, that is the graph, in TG, we will see the weight loss against the temperature. In DTA, in thermograms, we will see the temperature difference, that is the del T between reference material and sample material. Reference, that is the inert reference material. We will use inert reference material like alumina, glass beads, quartz. These are the inert reference material. Inert reference material means these do not undergo any change, that is the physical or chemical do not any change by effect of temperature. Those materials are inert temperature. When we heat the inert material, it does not affect the temperature. So it is valued those inert reference material as a constant. And when we heat our samples, when we provide heating or cooling temperature, suppose 20 degrees Celsius, we provide the compound, our sample material. Then the inert reference material are continuously heat in a 20 degrees Celsius per minute, does not affect its compositions to inert material. But when samples we heat 20 degrees Celsius per minute, our samples are undergo this chemicals and physical change. All the materials are when we give it temperature, it melts or it decomposes or crystallizes or it gives physical or chemical changes. Suppose we detect the melting point in laboratory. So when we give the temperature, our compound is melt. So when I give rise to any compound, we give the temperature. It's a chemical and physical composition is changed. So in a differential thermal analysis, we analyze its physical and chemical changes of the substances. So in DTA, del T is equal to temperature of reference minus temperature of samples. So in DTA, both test samples and inert reference material like alpha alumina, it undergoes a controlled heating or cooling programs, which is a linear with respect to times. There is a zero difference between the temperature of sample and reference material. We heat as earlier says, 30 degrees Celsius per minute. 30 degrees Celsius heating per minute sample material as well as reference materials. When a sample does not undergo any physical or a chemical change, that is the del T is equal to 0. Or inert material, as already says, it does not undergo any physical or chemical changes. But when a sample, it does not undergo any physical or chemical change. that is the del T is equal to 0. When we see copper sulfate hydrated, when we heated copper sulfate up to 100 degrees Celsius, it is the same heating, but up to 100 degrees Celsius it loses water. So at that time there is a physical changes in the copper sulfate. So that time the temperature is variations. So when up to 100 degrees Celsius, the temperature between reference sample and our sample is the copper sulfate. That is the same temperature, that is the del T is equal to 0. But if any reaction take place, then the temperature difference between del T will occurs between sample and reference material. So when a copper sulfate is heated and a reaction takes place at 100 degrees Celsius, at 100 degrees Celsius it undergoes melt and water is dehydrated. So at 100 degrees Celsius the copper sulfate sample solution it is the temperature is loses, and the sample at that sample temperature the temperature is does not at a del T is equal to 0. So we heat the sample material. So at that point the copper sulfate samples is at a lower heat. So that is there are two type of reaction, endothermic change and exothermic change. When a sample melt or dehydrated, the sample is a lower temperature than the reference material due to the reactions or changes. Again, you see in the dTA graph there is a negative dt, negative del T, that is negative heating. So this is the endothermic change, and up to at the lower point due to the endothermic peak graph there is a increasing the heat by providing the sensor. The heat temperature increases and it comes in the as the reference material baseline peak. So again we provide the temperature of the sample to achieve the show the temperature difference compared to reference sample. In dTA graph or plot, it is made up of del T or time. A sharp endothermic peak changes in crystallinity. Broad endothermic peak arise from the dehydration reaction. So for our graph we will analyze our reaction is endothermic or exothermic. So from the graph we see we suppose the big endothermic graph, it is the dehydration reaction, it is the removal of the H2O, and the sharp endothermic graph is the crystallinity. So we will see the thermograms of the calcium oxalate hydrated water molecules. So when we heated the calcium oxalate at 100 degrees Celsius, so at 100 degrees Celsius it loses water. So you will see in the dTA graph, thermogram graph. Thermogram graph will show the del T is equal to 0, baseline. So baseline, this is the sample our reference material heated at a continuous, its temperature is same. When a chemical changes or physical changes occurs in a sample, the temperature is lower or cooling temperature is lower side, that is the endothermic reaction, or temperature is over side at the absorbed temperature, it is the exothermic reaction. When a calcium oxalate it goes to 100 degrees Celsius, it loses in water molecule. So the dTA curve shows the endothermic, it is the broad peak, at a del T is the negative side. So again by our sensor we provide the temperature and it heated, and it again reached to temperature up to as a reference material. So it comes in a reference material after some time. In our thermogram graph shows at 346 degrees Celsius there is a liberation of the carbon monoxide from the calcium oxalate. So when a liberation of the carbon monoxide at that sample there is a increase in the temperature. So we'll see in the graph of the DTA, increasing the temperature as the temperature goes as the positive side. When again for the same at the baseline, so it is the cooling at that point, and temperature is the same as the delta is equal to 0. Again at 660 degrees Celsius, calcium oxalate loses the carbon dioxide, and it is the endothermic reaction. So this is the thermograms and the basic principle of the DTA. So in TG we will heat only one sample, our sample, and TG we will continuously weight loss with respect to temperature. But in DTA it is the differential thermal analysis. We measure reference sample with our sample material. Both are kept in a furnace, and it are continuously heating at a controlled temperature. At some point the sample undergoes physical or chemical changes. At that point, physical or chemical changes recorded in the thermograms. If the changes are in the endothermic, there is a decrease in the heat, or it is the delta, it is the negative side. But it is the when the physical changes are the exothermic, there is a sharp increasing in the temperature at that point, and shows the exothermic positive delta graph. So this is all about the main principle and the thermogramic DTA curves. So next we will see the instrumentation of the DTA. So as already seen, the DTA is the two, we will see the first is the reference material and next is the sample material in a furnace. So in instrument there is a various components of DTA are furnace. Mainly furnace are generally all the thermometric titration. Main components are furnace, sample holder, temperature controller, temperature programmer, recorder, and the thermocouples. Furnace, it is the heating devices, as you show our laboratories. There is a simple furnace, but DTA it is the highly sophisticated and easily handling instruments. Sample holder, it contains, as already says, sample and the reference material. And the temperature control, there are three components of temperature control: sensor, control element, heater. Next is the temperature programs. Temperature programs are the attostar transformer, it is the use. Next is the recorder and the thermocouple. So we see the one by one. So furnace, it is the generally used the tubular furnace. It is used in furnace. Tubular furnace is the reference always, and it is the refractory tube-like structure furnace, and the circulatory heating coils, and circulatory heating coil is surrounded by tubular shape. Suppose so you assume that the two bottles, and there is a circulatory surrounded by electrical coils, and the sample and the reference are material kept in the furnace. As see, the main tubular furnace is recommended. Next is our sample holder. There are two type of the sample holder: metallic and non-metallic sample holders. As earlier we said, furnace, there is that when we assume that the two bottles, and the bottles are covered with the refractory tube material. Then refractory tube materials, refractory tube materials are kept in the. There are refractory materials are porcelains, alumina. These are the refractory materials. So the samples and reference material, the sample holders are covered with the refractory material. Then the refractory materials are in the coil with the circulatory heating coil. So this is the furnace. Next is the sample holders. There are two types of the sample holders. One is the metallic sample holder and next is the non-metallic sample holder. By the various uses samples, we select the metallic or non-metallic sample holder. The metallic sample holders are made up of generally nickel and stainless steels, platinum and its alloy. Nickel and stainless steels, the nickel and stainless steel sample holders are used up to 1000 degrees Celsius temperature. The non-metal sample holders are glass or silica or alumina. These are the non-metal sample holder. Geometry of the sample holder. Generally, two geometry are used. Geometry means the shape of sample holders. Shape means one is the CV, bottle is the spherical shape, and conical flask is the triangular shape. So generally two shape sample holders, spherical sample holders and tubular sample holders. Spherical sample holders are the manufacturing fabrication problem. So we use the tubular or the cylindrical sample holders. So we kept our samples in reference. It's kept in our sample bin in sample holders. So the sample holders, thermocouples is attached. The thermocouples are the sensors. There is the temperature sensor. For thermocouples are the temperature sensor. Thermocouples is the inserted into the centers of materials in chambers. Generally, the thermocouple wires are made up of chromium or nickel alloy, nickel or chromium or aluminum alloy, nickel and aluminum alloy. There is a heating range up to 1100 degrees Celsius. And when a platinum and rhodium alloy you use, there is a 2100 degrees Celsius when we use the platinum and rhodium alloys, the thermocouples. So these are the wires. So these wires are inserted in our sample material and the reference material. So for the prevention of the chemical attack, these thermocouples or the wires are covered with the jacket or the block. So next, so this is our thermocouple. Next is the temperature controller. Temperature controller is the main role of the DTA instruments. So we give the programs for heating these samples. To control the temperature, three basic units for temperature controller. There is the required sensor, control element and heater. Sensor, as already says, that the thermocouples. It also means as the sensor. And next, the control elements are there are two systems in a control element. One, it is the on-off control system and it is the proportional control systems. So in on-off control system, in this device, the sensor signals indicate that the temperature has become greater than set point. Then immediately heat cut off. This system not used because it have the problem of electrical interference. That is the on-off system. When we reach our maximum value, the heater is stopped. So this is the on-off systems. Next is the program controller. Program controller, it is the on-off. It is the not at the on-off system. The on-off, it is the controller or their function in the temperature. So that it is used as the proportional controller in the latest DTA instrument. So this is all about the DTA instrument. So as we'll see the DTA instrument. Next it is the temperature programming and recorder. So in a recorder we directly receive the thermograms, and in the signals are received from the temperature program. In these signals are received in the writing, the electrical writing or optical beams, and we got the curve, that is the DTA curve. So this is all about the DTA. So at once we will review for the DTA instrumentation and principle. So DTA principle, there are the two materials we will take. One is the reference material and other is the sample material. Reference material and sample material heat at a controlled or a constant temperature. Suppose 30 degrees Celsius, we heat reference material as well as sample material. It is our program time, that is the 30 degrees Celsius. So when we heat the reference material 30 degrees Celsius per minute and sample material 30 degrees Celsius per minute. As we know, when any sample or material it is heated, it undergoes any physical or chemical changes. So those physical or chemical changes are the difference between the reference material and a sample material. These are recorded in DTA, and those the graph will show del T against the temperature set, increasing temperature or time. So thank you.